So for today's video, I'm going to be going over my time playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So Square Enix was kind enough to invite me to play the demo at MCM Comic Con this year. So it's the same demo that you've seen for the past few weeks and stuff. So the Nibelheim segment and the Juno section as well. Um, Essentially, we got an hour to play it, which is more than enough time to go through both of the segments and possibly go through like one of them again if you really wanted to. But I kind of wanted a bit more time, but unfortunately, this is not the case. I can't be that too greedy. If anything, I was very fortunate because my original recording didn't save, so they actually allowed me to come down another day to come and do my session. So big thanks to them. Honestly, they're like super cool people about it, honestly. But yeah, I'll be going over through mainly the gameplay of the game, the new stuff that's in there, and basically like my final thoughts as well. And also a bit of my time in MCM Comic Con as well. So I would rather just get the MCM part of the way. So essentially, if you've been to these like events or cons before, you probably know how this works anyway. But essentially, how this was set up was it was on a bus, a UK type of bus for those people that might not be aware of. Mainly like the very old ones that are like barely like commissioned anymore these days. So you had quite a few stations in there to play, like downstairs and upstairs, and then there's like the creator area, which is like two PS5s that were there for people to do, and like the capture card there as well, which honestly probably saved a lot of people time because bringing your own laptop and stuff down there is, I mean, it's not hard, but it can be a hassle sometimes. So I was kind of happy that they actually said, yeah, we've got to just capture card, just bring your SD card. But yeah, it was very nice compared to what was done before. So when it was Remake, you just had like stations where everyone can just see you. This one is a bit more closed off, so you can like immerse yourself a bit more without like everyone just hawking eyes over you pretty much. I would say the only downside to it, and it's not like, oh, they done anything wrong. It's just that I think there was an oversight on their thing, is that it was very hot in there. Like those PS5s was making it very toasty in there, and it don't help that there's many monitors online. What am I say online? Basically, it's too many monitors there, and yeah, it got hot very quickly. Thankfully, there was like a back door where the creators were to give us some sort of fresh air. But yeah, if that wasn't open, yeah, a lot of people probably just be sweating their heads off pretty much. That was the only oversight, but apart from that, it was like super good, super nice. Um, the queue for it though, if you're just like general, was very long, which was to be expected. I think on Saturdays it was running for like 2 to 3 hours, and it was going like all the way around the whole area pretty much, which was honestly, I wasn't surprised because it happened with Remake as well. But enough of that. Let's actually go and get into the video itself. So, gameplay in Rebirth has been refined a lot more compared to what we've been playing or played when a remake came out. So, we mainly got a glimpse of this when the Integrate DLC came out, with the way how Yuffie and Sonon played together. That was like a glimpse of how like the synergy stuff would kind of work. Now, most of the characters still play the same as before, but with the addition of Red 13 being playable legit now, as we all know, he was kind of playable in Remake before, but yeah, we won't go into there. But yeah, essentially we do have like a new style to play with the way Red 13 plays. Now, as I said earlier, I only got to play 1 hour total, so I did try out a few of the characters here and there. Aerith and all that, Aerith, Tifa, Barrett, they pretty much still play the same as they would before. Obviously, Red 13, he's fully playable now, as I said. He plays quite fast paced, honestly, from what I played. It did throw me off slightly a bit, but once I got used to it, I was like, okay, Red 13 is actually quite a decent character to play with, you know. It's a shame, I kind of wanted to play him a bit more, but my time ran out, so I just had to leave it there. Hopefully there's like a full demo or something that will come out to the public that will give us even more time, or essentially like infinite time at that point, to test out all the characters and stuff. Cloud actually plays slightly different. So his normal attacks are still there from Remake, but in his Punisher mode, that is pretty much changed. Not like completely changed, but the way he does his moves and stuff have slightly changed. The parry is still there that you can do for most enemies' attacks, mainly like physical attacks and stuff. But the way he attacks now is like slightly faster and a bit more control to what he was doing in Remake. This one, I guess you could say, is a bit more refined now compared to what we had. Like you'll see the clips and stuff through it, so it is slightly different to what it was before, but it still pretty much works the same. Now, for the performance of the game itself, the build we're playing is obviously an early build, which I'm not too sure how old it is. It's probably like a few months old at this point now because we've seen it so many times. But considering that there was an option to play either in graphics mode or performance mode, I was like, okay, they're quite confident on this now. So obviously, me being me, I like my performance mode more or less, which honestly surprising. It ran pretty much flawlessly. I didn't see no drops or anything. And bearing in mind this is like an early build as well, so I can only just say that the full game will probably have no problems. Touch wood, hopefully. But yeah, it runs very very well, so I can't fault them for that, honestly. But I did see a few people play on the graphics mode, and it did look really good as well. It's just that for me personally, I prioritize me having 60 FPS rather than playing it like 30 FPS. But not to say 30 FPS is bad and stuff, but it's there for the people that want, full on graphics and everything. Though I would say that with this current build, there were some issues with the lighting in some areas, which honestly doesn't surprise me, but I would assume that will just get fixed in the full game anyway. But it was it was very noticeable, and it didn't help that the monitor I was playing on, I think like the brightness was like quite low as well, because my god, certain areas I couldn't see like jack shit pretty much. But yeah, apart from that, performance was just pretty much flawless. The gameplay is still the same as we remember, it's just a lot more refined. So honestly, I don't think many people have trouble getting back into it. It might take them like an hour or two to like familiarize themselves with it again, because maybe if they haven't played it in god knows how long, like me, I haven't played it since it came out on PC, which was like I don't know how many years now at this point. But yeah, I honestly can't have any faults for the gameplay at the moment. Now this kind of goes in with the gameplay as well, but I kind of wanted to make it its own segment. That is basically some of the new stuff that I've seen when playing the demo for Rebirth. So I wanted to just be a bit more specific on it. So now, if you haven't been aware, like obviously in Rebirth, when it comes to combat, we have synergy abilities. Now, considering how many characters we get to play, I'm kind of glad they implemented something like this to basically spice up the combat a bit more. And we've seen a lot of these synergy abilities in the trailers that they're showed, and honestly, when using them, they're like really good, and I think they're quite OP. I'll pretty much say they're like somewhat of a limit break to an extent, but like not super limit break to the point where you just destroy enemies 24/7. But I think it's a mixture that the builds that we had in the game and the level we were at, I think it was higher than it should have been, because honestly the bosses, I was literally destroying them within like a few minutes pretty much, which I guess, even playing on normal mode as well, which I think it is on by default. We didn't get to select any difficulty, but I would assume in normal mode it was. Yeah, it's pretty easy, which is similar to like what happened in Remake. But yeah, along with these synergy abilities, you can't really spam them 24/7, which is to be expected. So to use these, you would see a bar like on the bottom right near your characters, like ATB gauge and health bar, that will fill up over time. Now once filled, you can actually use that specific, say, synergy ability, but there are also some other synergy skills as well that you can use like 24/7 pretty much. Now with Cloud, I was mainly using the Void Shatter ability, which it varies depending on who you have in your team. So with Sephiroth, it's like a darkish color sense with like basically, I guess, with magic imbued into it, which for a lot of enemies seems to just pressure them very quickly, which I don't I don't think it's supposed to, but yeah, a lot of enemies can get pressured by it. With Tifa, it's like more of like a I guess like a power stance more or less. But you can see that it can mix and match with certain people. There is like a fair amount of synergy skills that you can use. I didn't get to use all of them because some of the enemies again were just dying way too quick for me to even like try them. But they are there. It is a nice feature, honestly, and I think, or I don't know, I think I'd hope that there is like a lot more that will come into the game when the full game is released, just to like give us like a variety of moves to use. Another addition that I noticed when playing the game is that there are new materia in the game. As honestly, I don't think it comes as a surprise really, considering how or where we are in the game at the moment. Obviously, this probably was not shown in like all the previews and stuff that most people have done or given footage to pretty much. But when I was in when I was in the Nibelheim mission, I noticed that there were like a few new material that I could pick up. So one of them being the lightning and arrow material, which basically saves you one slot compared to say using lightning and arrow material, which will take up 2 slots. So it is what it says, where it's basically you can just use both of them. Obviously not at the same time, but you can choose which one you want to use from like the menu and stuff, which I think there'll probably be a lot more in the game, probably like a few different combinations as well. Obviously if they give us the chance to make our own depending on what we want, I think that would be a bit too OP, but we'll see when the full game comes out. Another material that I came across was the comet material and a level up material as well. So comet is what we expect it to be. You've probably seen it millions of times from certain enemies in the game and stuff. Unfortunately, it's only got 2 levels to it, and the second level is called Meteor, which is quite the name, but it is what it is. And then the level up material basically works as a free level up to any material that you attach it to. So this is like the blue material that you see throughout most of the games, or I say games, Remake first. So you'll pair it up with like say comet, fire, lightning, arrow, and you basically get a free level with it. So say for example with comet, it's only got 2 levels, so it's actually a good fit for it at the moment, like when you get it. And then you just have come meteor straight away, just like that. Obviously if you remove it, then it'll go back to its previous level. So yeah, I was actually quite happy to see new material in the game, and I hope in the full game that there's like a lot more as well. Now probably the thing that I was most excited for, or like the thing that I really wanted to try out, was playing Sephiroth, and honestly it was a blast playing him. He plays how I expected, but a bit more fast paced to Cloud, which is obviously to be expected. But yeah, it was just something fresh, something new, and honestly I think any chance I get to play him, or for anyone else that's going to get the game, I think they'll just play him straight away, like no hesitation whatsoever. So the way Sephiroth works is that he obviously has his normal attacks, but he can also do a ranged attack if you hold down the square button, and landing certain number of attacks will also allow you to like perform branching finishes. So for example, you can use Pierce, you can use Sword Dance, or you can use Telluric Fury. He also has a parry skill, which I only managed to like pull off once, because the time is, I know it's a bit odd with certain moves of the enemies, but essentially it works like Cloud. So you'd go into retaliation stance by pressing R1, and then you basically press square at the right time. And once he does that, you're basically getting like an easy amount of attacks in, and then you can just continue to like pretty much devour the enemy then and there. Now Sephiroth still does have his normal limit break Octaslash, which is still the same from what we've seen in Remake as well. It's just that the fact that we actually get to do it now ourselves, you know. But yeah, honestly playing Sephiroth was like probably the best thing in the game for me, honestly. That and Red 13, mainly because again, everyone else, I pretty much know how they're gonna play. If they change them drastically, then fine, but yeah, I don't think they will do that in this game. But yeah, honestly, if there's a demo that comes out in the future, God willing, please try playing Sephiroth. I don't think anyone will regret it. One more feature that I also noticed in the game was the item transmuter, which is basically the crafting in the game. This allows you to basically craft a variety of items like potions, cushions, and armor, though armor was not available in the demo. mainly because I guess where we was in the story. But essentially, when you're exploring the overworld, you'll find a bunch of items on the ground which can be used for crafting. You would also be finding higher tier items as well when using the chocobo. So when you're on the chocobo, you can use its scent to go and find like certain key, more than key items, certain high rare items. Like a question mark will come up on its head and it'll give you the indication that okay, something rare is quite close by, which is honestly quite nice. Because these types of stuff I kind of like. I like it to an extent. Hopefully they don't like go overboard with it, but it's a nice feature to add into the game instead of just having all your items in the shop pretty much. And one final note on one of the new stuff that was added into the game is the world intel. Now these serves pretty much as like a combat challenge in the overworld where it will give the players 3 objectives to complete, and you would spot these like on the map as well, so you won't miss them anything. These objectives are honestly not too hard to complete. They could be a bit tricky sometimes because sometimes they ask you to pressure an enemy or stagger them, or basically don't allow them to do a certain move before something happens. Unfortunately, I didn't get to do all the challenges in like any of them. I only done like 2 out of 3 for like pretty much each of them. Obviously, it's good that they allow you to retry these as well. So I'm sure that's going to be like 100% completion trophy for that as well, which honestly wouldn't be surprising. But yeah, it's nice that they added a retry feature for it as well, because if you do mess up, then yeah, it would have been a bit of a hassle to just wait for them to spawn pretty much. But yeah, once you complete these, you do get like some sort of EXP which goes towards the rare fiend data, which I'm not too sure about, but I would assume once you reach a certain level of it or something, maybe you get something out of it. I wouldn't be surprised if you get like some rare items out of it or something, but we will just have to wait and see. But yeah, it seems something like there's a lot of side stuff to do in the overworld compared to like the previous game, which is to be expected because now we're out of Midgard, so we basically got like a whole big world map to explore pretty much. Now obviously I don't want to keep this video too long, mainly because it's just a preview of what I've played honestly. But yeah, honestly speaking, Rebirth, I'm obviously excited for. Mainly everyone's excited for it, but I'm excited for it mainly because I want to see what the hell they're going to do at the end of the story. But in terms of what I've played at everything on Comic Con, I'll easily say that the team have done a good job on it honestly. Like the gameplay is good, the improvements they've done to it is good, the new synergy system is actually quite interesting and fun as well to an extent. Playing as Sephiroth is like obviously a bonus pretty much. Music's been good as well, exploration has been good, side stuff has been nice as well. So yeah, I actually cannot wait for the full game. So currently I'll give the game like, well, not even like the game, what I played currently, I'll give it like an 8 out of 10 honestly. Again, as I say, hopefully there is like a public demo that will come out so that everyone can try it, which they done for Remake, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do something similar for Rebirth, but we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, honestly, I enjoyed it and I cannot wait for it. So again, thanks for Square Enix for inviting me to try out the game and allow me to bring you this video as well. So if you got any questions about the game in itself or certain features in the game, let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you. But there is one tiny little thing that did happen to me in the demo which I kind of found quite funny, which I don't think any of the reps that were there was expected to happen. So I'll show you the clip after this. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching and I hope you enjoy your day and I'll see you guys later.